A student of the Stephen Dillard Primary School was hit by a vehicle as she attempted to cross busy East Street near Windsor Lane this afternoon just before 4 o'clock. 7-year-old Ashley Francois had already returned to her nearby Lucky Heart Corner home when she remembered that she'd left her jacket at the Wolf Road School. Returning to get it, she was hit by a gray Honda CRV headed south on East Street. The second grader lay quietly as onlookers gathered and police diverted traffic in the area as medics tended to the little girl. Her mother, Lucinice Florestine, said that her daughter was able to tell her that she was experiencing pain in her neck and right hand. Tonight she's recuperating in hospital, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Police have charged 29-year-old Rodriguez John Pierre with the Abaco murder of Wendell Miller. Police say 59-year-old Miller was found in the area of the Road Traffic Department, Crockett Drive, Bay Street, Abaco, on Saturday with a wound to the neck. The Charlie Boo Yard, Dundas Town resident was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic where he succumbed to his injuries. In court on Wednesday, Deputy Chief Magistrate Carolita Bethel charged John Pierre with intentionally and by means of unlawful harm causing Miller's death. He was not required to enter a plea and he's been remanded to prison. A voluntary bill of indictment will be filed in the case. Following arraignment, John Pierre indicated that he couldn't afford a lawyer and was told that the court would provide one for him. He's due back in court on June 15th. Czech investor Victor Cassini scoring a major victory at the London-based Privy Council. The High Court has ruled that 48-year-old Cassini should be released from prison and not extradited to the United States, upholding a 2010 ruling of the Bahamian court. 48-year-old Cassini was arrested in 2006 at his Lyford Key home and jailed, but Justice John Isaacs released him on bail a year later after ruling there was an abuse of the process and the offenses were not extraditable. Cassini, also known as the Pirate of Prague, is accused of bribing Azerbaijan officials in an oil deal. He's also wanted for extradition to the U.S. to answer to bribery and money laundering charges. However, the unanimous ruling by the 5-judge panel of Lord Hope, Lady Hale, Lord Kerr, Lord Clark, and Lord Dyson apparently eliminates any chance that Cassini will be extradited to the United States. A group of criminal lawyers protesting the new search rules put in place yesterday at the South Street Magistrates Court. Officer in charge of the $1 million complex, Superintendent Oscar Stans, has tightened security at the facility, ensuring that everyone who attends court, including lawyers, is searched before entering the building. Previously, lawyers weren't inspected by police. It's a move that's not sitting well with the lawyers who are particularly concerned about confidential documents being exposed.
No, we ministers of justice. We're not criminals. We don't have any allegations, whereas they don't have any precedents, whereas any lawyers would have done anything nefarious to have warranted this, to watch certain senior lawyers go through, and then watching we have files that is extremely sensitive, and to watch the police go through each one of them and opening up their bag and rummaging through it is extremely, is a bit much.
We are subjected to being searched as officers of the court, known officers of the court who regularly appear before the court. And as my colleague, the father, said earlier, there has been no instance of any impropriety on the part of any counsel in terms of our appearance in the court or posing a threat to any of the staff or any of the officials.
This is not a police building, this is a judicial building, and we should be treated with a lot more dignity.
Now, Superintendent Sands has responded. He told ZNS News that while police are searching everyone, including lawyers, they're not going through any papers and are just asking females to open their bags to see whether or not they're carrying weapons into court. And while Superintendent Sands acknowledges the lawyers' concerns, he says the searches will continue in order to weed out persons who may attempt to smuggle edge tools, firearms, or illegal contraband into the building. Superintendent Sands says it's all a part of ensuring public safety. From crime news, two men ages 20 and 18 years are in police custody after being found in possession of a large quantity of suspected stolen items. Officers of the Eastern Division arrested the men shortly before noon on Wednesday. Initial police reports indicate that officers were on routine patrol in the Sans Souci area when they observed the men with 3 bags. The men attempted to flee. However, quick response by the officers resulted in their arrests and the stolen goods were confiscated. Now, some of the items confiscated include a laptop, video console, and games, clothing, and jewelry. In other crime news, a 32-year-old man is in police custody after being found in possession of more suspected stolen items, drugs, and a quantity of cash believed to be the proceeds of drugs. According to police reports, shortly before 10 a.m. on Wednesday, officers of the Southeastern Division searched a home at Petticoat Lane off Delancey Street where they found laptops and a cell phone. The items and cash were confiscated. The Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, IRCA, has announced the appointment of Mrs. Kathleen Smith as Chief Executive Officer with effect from April 2, 2012. The 5-year appointment ends a competitive search which began June 2011. Mrs. Smith brings a portfolio of strong regulatory experience to the position. In 2000, she joined the Public Utilities Commission, PUC, which preceded IRCA as a financial analyst and later held the position of Senior Case Officer. In January 2012, she was appointed Director of Policy and Regulation. In this capacity, she has been the authority's most senior executive since August 2011, when the CEO position became vacant. The transformation has already begun, but soon the Cable Beach Strip will be a whole new attraction. In this report, we take a look at some of the more than 40-year-old remnants that are coming down and how the new 21st century attraction is taking shape. Robert Sands has been pacing this strip since the 1970s. Back then, he was a line staffer at the top-class Nassau Beach Hotel. Here's what's left of it, little more than a great deal of nostalgia.
What's behind me is bittersweet. Having started my career in this location early 1970s, some 40 years ago, which gave me my foundation and grounding as a hotelier. And now to see the old making way for the new, I've come full circle.
Just over this Crystal Palace balcony is what used to be the popular eatery Cafe Johnny Canoe and the Nassau Beach Hotel, which opened back in 1959.
What you see in the background is the East Wing, which was the 3rd phase of this hotel that was built. You know, this hotel was built in 3 phases. The original hotel was built in 1959 in the 1st phase, 2nd phase, and the final phase was built maybe some 20 years later. And so that's the East Wing, the modern tower of the Nassau Beach Hotel, and that would be the last tower to come down to make way, for which will be the home of the Rosewoods Luxury Hotel.
And next door, there's already significant progress toward another property. 13 months after ground was broken, here's the proof, the beginnings of the 1,000-room, 26-story casino hotel.
One milestone that we will have to, that we are gearing to meet, is that this hotel will be 100 feet above ground level by the 1st of July this year, which is approximately 9 or 10 stories above ground. That is very significant because it will demonstrate the progress that we would have made on this construction site, recognizing that we only broke ground on the 21st of February.
As the landscape fades, there are some tangible mementos for Sands to hold on to. They include a red brick and front door emblem from the Nassau Beach and a famous room number.
Anybody who was anybody over those years stayed in room 415 at the Nassau Beach Hotel, whether they were prime ministers, princes, actors, other heads of state, celebrities. Those elements or momentums, some of my keepsakes that will stay with me for a long time.
Now here's an update on the New Providence Road Infrastructural Improvement Project. The contractor continues to work on Market Street North between Wolf Road and Duke Street. However, underground construction of the Wolf Road Market Street intersection was completed within 3 weeks and reopened to the motoring public in mid-March. Meantime, paving works are taking place on Market Street between Ross Corner and Duke Street, and Ministry of Works spokesperson Shanique Albury says 2 lanes of traffic will be accessible.
As anticipated, we are scheduled to have the first layer of asphalt and traffic on this portion of Market Street by the end of the week. Under temporary traffic management, 2 lanes of traffic will be allowed from Duke Street to Robinson Road on Market Street without any diversion by March 31st, 2012.
Fox Hill Road South, that is, between Blanco Beach and Sandlands Village Road, will also be closed beginning this coming Friday, March 30th, to allow Stage 2 of construction work in that area.
That in several areas of Prince Charles Drive, the road has been widened to allow 2-way traffic. It is anticipated that 2-way traffic will be restored to the entire length of Prince Charles Drive by April 1st, 2012. Motorists are asked to proceed with caution.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Here's what's making business news today. A major victory before the High Court in London for Czech investor Victor Cassini, as he will no longer be extradited to the United States on allegations of a $200 million fraud investment in an oil deal. Cassini was arrested here in 2006 and jailed, but later released on bail. In other business news, the jobs of some 200 employees at the City Market food stores is still uncertain, as the supermarket is expected to shut its doors tomorrow, while the union representing those workers will meet with owners this evening to ensure that those employees get their benefits. Those workers have been on reduced days for some time now, hoping that the company's finances would turn around. Meantime, a trade dispute has been filed at the Labor Department. That hearing is set for tomorrow. And in international business news, they call it an attempt to think small. That's why Best Buy is closing 50 of its larger stores and opening 100 smaller mobile stores with a focus on phones, tablets, and e-readers. They're hoping this move will allow them to keep pace with Amazon, the Apple Store, and other online retailers. Last quarter, the company lost $1.7 billion. Unfortunately, 400 employees could be laid off.
Remember, you can send us an email or join us on www.znsbahamas.com or become our friend on ZNS's official Facebook page.
And that's a wrap at your Royal Fidelity Business News this Thursday. I'm LaDawn Davis. Good evening, everyone.